So my talk today is about determinism and it's linked to veganism, and I'm going to give my perspective on that and how I feel we can best spread the vegan message to people who aren't vegan. So just to give you a little bit of a background about who I am and why I came out to speak to you all today. So my name's Brett. No one really knows me as Brett though, everyone knows me online as Vegan. I just want to show you a little bit about what I'm about online just before we kick off.
Let's get cooking.
So that's what I do there. My form of activism is to cook for people, to make recipe videos, to encourage people to eat vegan food, because whether the reason you're going vegan is for your health or for the animals, I just want people to go vegan. So I'm not really bothered about people's reasons, I just want people to do it. So that's my form of activism. It's a little bit less in your face than a lot of forms of activism, but that's kind of my brand of activism. Okay. So I'm called Vegan online. Doesn't mean I'm part vegan or a different breed of vegan. I'm still vegan, I'm still just a generic vegan like everyone else, for compassion, non-violence. I do it for the people, for the planet and for the animals, but ultimately I do it for the animals. I'm not really interested personally in the health benefits. There's other great assets to it, but I only do it because I don't want animals locked in cages and exploited for their whole lives just to be slaughtered much before they ever reach an age. So there's a quote by Alexander Solzhenitsyn, and he basically says that good and evil doesn't run across borders or through religion, it doesn't divide cultures. The line that divides good and evil divides every single person right down the middle. There's good and there's evil in all of us. No one of us is completely pure and no one of us is completely evil. Although we might all like to think that we're better than some people, we might all like to think that a certain culture or a certain religion is evil and they're doing things that we don't agree with. Good and evil is in every single one of us, and we need to accept that, and we need to move forward knowing that that's part of us. There's a yin and yang to every single one of us. So I don't know how familiar anyone in the room is with determinism, and if you know anything about it. Anyone got any key from the snowflake what determinism could be about? No? So determinism, and this is how I understand it, means that every single one of us is born with a set of attributes. So you're born with a certain amount of compassion. Biologically, you're born with a certain brain chemistry. Every single one of us, it's the nature versus nurture element of it, but every single one of you, it's a mixture of nature and nurture that gets you to where you are today. You have a certain element within you that will make you more compassionate naturally, but then every single thing that happens to you all through your life, much like a snowflake falling from the sky, makes you into a unique person that you are. So you are the sum of everything that's ever happened to you. So I like to think of it as a ball of plasticine. So a ball of plasticine is malleable. Everything you do to that ball of plasticine is going to stay on the plasticine and it's going to change you into the person you are. Now, I don't know how old everyone is in the audience, but this is morph. So the plasticine is moulded over time, changed, and then it turns into morph, and that's you. That's how you are. And morph looks pretty happy there. But it just changed you into the person you are today. Now, the reason I picked plasticine and not clay is because although you've been changed into the person you are today, you are not static. You're not still, you're not rock hard, you can be changed, you can be affected. Just like everyone else out there who's eating meat currently, who's living a non-vegan lifestyle, you all can change those people. You all can be a shining example of veganism, what it is and how it can help people. So why do you care? Why do you care about determinism? So exactly that. Why do you care about determinism? I care about determinism because I believe that every single person, because of the way they're born with their biology and because of everything that's ever happened to them, that's how they reached where they are today. Now, you've all got a pre-context in your mind because of what's happened to you previously. You will be more likely to make certain decisions. So if you believe in determinism and you believe how people reach where they are today, then you've got to look at every other person as you living another life. It's just you who's gone through different things in their life and they've reached where they are today. So someone who's eating meat and someone who's still buying into that culture, they're no different from you. They've just lived a different life. And we've got to remember that, because I personally, I've been vegan for nearly 2 years now, and I started off being extremely militant with people. I pushed my friends and my family away, and as soon as I pushed people away, what I noticed is we literally weren't talking anymore. And when we weren't talking, I couldn't have an impression on their life. I couldn't mould them into that morph. I couldn't mould them into a shining example of veganism and compassion and cruelty-free living, because there was no line of communication anymore. And we've got to be really, really careful as vegans to keep those lines of communication open at all times. Because people are doing this. You talk to people about cruelty-free living, you talk to people about animals being locked in cages, and you talk about chickens should lay 20 eggs a year, but instead they're being bred to lay 300 eggs a year. And can you imagine if a woman had 300 periods a year rather than one a month? Because that's what a chicken's doing, it's having a period, and that's why it's laying an egg. But people are doing this, they're putting their hands over their eyes, and it's similar to what a lot of my friends and family are doing. They're saying, I know, it's all really bad, I don't want to think about it, don't tell me anymore, because I don't want to think about it, because I like eating meat and I like continuing on my lifestyle. And it's not acceptable. But we've got to find the way that we can talk to people, we've got to find good open lines of communication. So what can you do? What I do is I cook for people. I've had friends, I've had family, I've had people I barely know. I've invited taxi drivers into my house and I've cooked him a meal because he was interested in going vegan. And I love cooking, not everyone loves cooking, but I absolutely love it, and I just want to show people that vegan food is tasty, delicious, wholesome food that's going to keep you satisfied, and it's going to show you that you can live a plant-based lifestyle and not be trading anything up. You can do it easily. But what have we got to do? So although, yeah, I like cooking for people, and that's my form of activism, we've got to talk to people about it. So when people ask you questions, you've got to, as Rob said earlier, you've got to arm yourself with information, you've got to go away and do the research, you've got to keep yourself fit and healthy. Because it's easy being vegan, I think so, but we could all eat Oreos all day, every day, and we could get out of shape, we could be unhealthy, we could eat Pop-Tarts, most of them are vegan. But you've got to live a healthy plant-based lifestyle, keep yourself in good health and good fitness, and show people that is exactly what a vegan looks like. And I might have long hair, I might look like a bit of a hippie, and people might think that's what veganism looks like. But ultimately, I've always got a smile on my face, I'm always active, I'm always out there in the community helping people. And people said to me really, really early on, oh, you give such a crap about animals, you absolutely love animals, and you keep going on about how we shouldn't eat them. What about humans? Well, this is all about humans, because it's all about the planet. But at the same time, as soon as people started saying that to me, I was like, you know what, you're right. So I go to the shop, I buy a load of food, I buy a load of water, I buy facial wipes, and I hit the streets and I give it to homeless people. Because it is about humans too. You've got to help where you can, you've got to show that in the community, you are the shining example of a compassionate person. It's not just a compassionate person to animals, it's a compassionate person to humans as well. So although you might get really frustrated and you want to get your message across, it's very, very key to the whole movement and the whole message and everyone else in the community that you don't alienate everyone else that isn't a vegan. Because although people might see being vegan as a bit cool and a bit hipster and like it's a little secret club, again, I don't care why people go vegan. I just want animals to stop dying, so I just want everyone to go vegan. So it's really, really crucial that everyone encourages people in any way they can, whether you're a bodybuilder and you want to show people thinking big and strong being vegan, whether you like to cook and meals, or whether you are someone who hits the streets and has their own form of activism, where they put in people's face the uncomfortable truth about what's going on behind closed doors. And this is what I like to say, you know, I don't know if anyone's ever seen the pyramid of the ecosystem that we've all been brainwashed with since birth, where we are top of the food chain, hunter-gatherer, going out there with a spear, killing animals, because that's what's macho and that's what's manly. But this is an actual ecosystem. It's not the ecosystem that we've been led to leave, where we all think that we're top of the food chain. I mean, we might be smarter than a lot of animals, maybe. I mean, I'm not saying a lot of animals, have got more empathy than we could ever know. But this is a real ecosystem. And similar to how in religion, I actually find online, if I'm going to have a conversation with someone about veganism, a lot of the time it's a very, very religious person that will put something on my page about how animals were put on this earth for us because we're God's favourite sons, apparently, and all other animals are here just for us. And it says that man was meant to have domain over all four-legged beings. And I believe that. I'm not religious personally, but I believe that. I believe that man was meant to have domain over all four-legged beings. But when I hear domain, I believe that we should be wardens of all four-legged beings. We're here to serve and protect the environment, and be wardens by protecting them and making sure they come to no harm by that evil side of us that is in all of us, but we've all got to be wardens and we've got to help and protect them. Talking about the spiritualness of animals, talk about the mental capacity of all animals, because obviously in society they're put into an abstraction, they're put into the other and some property. I mean, I passed a truck the other day that says livestock. I never really took that in until really recently. Livestock, two words put together to make a word that's often on the back of lorries with animals going to slaughter. And I thought, wow, how can that be more of an oxymoron than something that's alive and free and good natured and a sentient being, and stock that's an object that's owned and it's property. And it's like humane slaughter. There's no more bigger of an oxymoron than that. So what's next? Well, I've put together a little bit of a spoken word for you that we're going to go to, because although a lot of people are doing this, a lot of people are hiding from it, a lot of people don't want to see everything and they prefer to stay in the dark on veganism. It is up to us to educate people. It is up to us to be loud and proud and wear t-shirts that are active, and to spread our own brand of veganism, to encourage people to come over to our house and eat our vegan food and share with people, and not just be in our little closed-knit society. But if you look at Google Trends, people are waking up. This is from 2004 to present day. That is the rise of veganism. I don't know how much everyone else uses Google Trends. For me, for videos and things like that, it's really important to me because it shows what's hot right now, what people are actually looking for on the internet. And that's how many times veganism gets searched from 2004 to now. It's showing that gradual climb of people beginning to wake up, and it is going to reach a tipping point. It will reach a point eventually where there's more vegans than non-vegans, and it will absolutely snowball. But it's not quick enough. It's not quick enough, and there's a reason it's not quick enough, because I ate meat. I bought into that. I bought into that cruelty. I was as bad as anyone else who hasn't woken up now. And the only way I woke up is I met people like you guys here, who had an effect on me, who talked to me about it, who explained things, and they explained it in a way that I wasn't protective over. Because I don't want to feel stupid. I don't think anyone really wants to feel stupid. No one wants to feel like I'm dumb because I've bought into a system that I've been brainwashed into for years and years. No one wants to go, oh yeah, I had the wall pulled over my eyes and I needed to open my eyes and wake up. No one wants to feel like that. So it is up to us to not make people feel like that. Often people will say to me, I've been watching your videos, and these are friends and families, and they go, so I've gone pescatarian. Because really, and I have to bite down, and I have to not shout and scream and get mardy, because that's fantastic. They're actually making a step, but they're still not seeing fish as animals, and they're not seeing it as meat. And I'm scratching my head and I'm thinking, really? You're kind of making the connection, but you're not there yet. And you've obviously not researched dairy, because you're not realising that you're buying into the veal industry if you're drinking milk. You're not realising that calves are being chained up and you're drinking their milk, so you are killing them whether you want to admit it or not. But at the same time, I've got to go, Great. Good first step. If you want any help, come and see me and I'll teach you how to make a beautiful, tasty meal without the fish and without the dairy and without the eggs. And then we'll see what we can do from there. And you might feel a little bit happier. You might know that you're not buying into that cruelty. And this, for me, this is probably the most important picture I've ever had taken, because these are the most beautiful sentient beings I've ever met in my life. These are fantastic people who all came to a meet-up, and literally when I talk about being a shining example of veganism, this is it. These are people who came out to London, sat with us, ate with us, we did a yoga session in the morning, we went barefoot running through the park, and then everyone bought fruit and snacks with them, and we sat and we shared. I'd never experienced anything like that before I was vegan. These things must go on. But these people all wanted to share their food. They all wanted to chat to everyone. They all wanted to add each other on social media and spread the word. Because they all bought into veganism. They all bought into a cruelty-free lifestyle. And it almost brings me to tears, this, because that is beautiful. They're people's friends for life. That's meeting people who you instantly feel a connection with, because you know they buy into a cruelty-free lifestyle as well. You know that you've got something on the level with them. And I think when we go out there and you have more and more conversations with people, we'll realise we have more on the level with a lot more people than we think. It's just that they haven't looked into this box yet. They haven't opened Pandora's box and gone, they haven't looked beyond closed doors and realised the cruelty that was going on. Because a lot of people who say they're animal lovers, we all know, are kind of pet lovers until they go vegan. So I'm going to do a little spoken word for you. And now I really hope you don't mind that I'm going to read it off my phone, because I want to do it justice. So I've talked to you all today about veganism, I've talked to you about determinism, and I've basically said that every decision you ever make is predetermined because of your biological ability and everything that you've ever been through in your life. So I had to put that into a spoken word just to say that all hope isn't lost. Not everything's going to happen purely because of biology. It's not all a predetermined path. Because you might say to me, if it's all predetermined, then why should I even try to spread the word or make change? You've made me wonder why. Because your eyes are open. Be the change you want to see. I met people just like you, and you were the change in me. It takes all kinds and a million tries to ever turn the tide. It's frustrating and tiring. I know firsthand, I've tried. But start the conversation, cook a vegan meal, invite your friends and family and tell them how you feel. Because if you really mean it, if you want the animals free, there's only one way to start. Be the change you want to see. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you. I hope I've kind of got the message across to you all today. I was not vegan for most of my life, and I've only been vegan for like the last 2 years. You've been affected by everything that's ever happened to you, but the one thing you can all do is be the change in someone else's life. But you've got to start the conversation, you've got to keep open lines of communication to be able to do that. So be vegan, be a shining example, keep a smile on your face, and really try not to get frustrated, keep putting the message across, because you're all the most important asset that veganism's got. Cheers, guys.